I've been working on what's called an automation runbook, and kind of just want to demonstrate to you what this thing can do, what it does, because it's a little odd. But let's just spin up a Claude session and try and figure out what is. Well, let's go to potatoes, but then we say Claude. What is an automation runbook? Because the way I would describe it is it's like a set of tasks that you need done, but that you're not going to say the way that it has to be done. That might not have always been the case for what an automation runbook is, but like now that's the way I'm using it. That like I need you to do this, and then with whatever output you get from this, that becomes the input of that, and then whatever the input, so now that has the output of 1 becomes the input of 2, then the output of 2 becomes the input of 3, the output of 3 becomes the input of 4, like it just goes on and on and on. And with an automation runbook, what I think makes it so powerful in the world of like agentic software is you get this like one, when the models get better, all of a sudden whatever your runbook is, it should, by like a, if we can rely on the collective unconscious or the collective consciousness, the zeitgeist, if you will, if we can rely on them to adequately benchmark and like define whether things are getting better or not, they're going to move in the getting better direction, because there's no interest in making sure that things stay terrible. I'm so overly verbose with some of these things, but why that's important? Because if you juxtapose that with like an automation that says, all right, do this, and then after you do this, that output will become this input. The nature of those two things are so different, because even though I literally said the exact same thing, the way in which those things get done is different. If I wrote code that says do exactly this, and whatever this is, it's limited to my imagination's ability to create code that can give me an output that will be highly enriched uranium for my second input. But with agentic or automation runbooks, you don't really have that. Like the world becomes your oyster. Like the idea is get one really good automation, just like make it really good. Then make sure whatever that good thing is goes into the next thing. Work really hard on that one node. The thing is, once you get to the end, you end up with something that like can genuinely be remarkable. So let's read through what Claude said. An automation runbook is a structured executable document that defines how a specific automated process should run. The trigger, the inputs, the step-by-step actions. You see, like, while this is all true, you might not think that you're capable of creating a useful runbook. Like, quite frankly, the trigger, whether it's a cron just means like executing on a schedule. Webhook meaning after an event gets broadcast somewhere, something responds to it. Manual clickety clack. An event, I mean, webhooks kind of work off of events, but the webhook is what, like, so you have a webhook. When an event happens, usually you'll register a webhook handler. The webhook will call an HTTP event or a HTTP endpoint, somewhat different than an event. You can literally just respond to an event too. So triggers for preconditions, environment variables, credentials, upstream data must exist. True, yes. These preconditions, this is what we're going to explore later, because in the world of agentic software systems, it's so much more exciting. Because the preconditions are like, well, this is how I treat it. I say, like, here's an example of a runbook that I made, and I can show you the results of it. Where is it? Will I find it? Here it is. So I have these potato characters, as you could see from my background, and they all have personality and such, and I've given them voices through this thing called 11 Labs. 11 Labs gives you AI voices. You could also train your own voice, but since I'll be working with them, I don't really want one of them to have my voice. Russ may get my voice, but I also found, I think it's Spud Oxley or something, who's in 11 Labs. But it's this runbook. Let's see if it, I don't think it's going to run while I'm recording, But basically, yeah, that's actually so lame. Okay, but we can break down the elements. So we have this carousel right here. And as this is actually called remotion. As the video moves, this thing goes up and down. And you see how like May 27th, managed pay day. I don't even know what that says. That particular component is governed by a node in the runbook. If I just change that component, it's not going to break this. It's not going to break this. It's not going to break these marquees. It's only going to adjust this one thing, and you can identify it very easily with AI. So I have a runbook that runs these Intel briefs for me. So the War Premium that one was about like the Strait of Hormuz stuff was going on. Mythos at the Gate was when Claude Code was about to release Mythos. The field empties, the voice in the field where potatoes grow. It's generating all of this, and it's giving Hash the opportunity to report on it. Then some point later in the video, if it lets me get there, I'm using this tool called OBS, that stands for Open Broadcast System. It's a really easy way for you to like do frame and frame, add multiple audio inputs, but I think it's a memory hog, and so is Remotion. So that's why we're getting the slowness. And I'm running Claude, so I've noticed that eats up some things too. So we keep seeing the operator, which is Hash, but we do like, and here, okay, so here's Butter. Here's another one. He's supposed to be a little more smooth or slick. Every Fry brand checkout in your stack just got a silent owner. That owner gets the data. Yeah, because something just happened where that like prompted me to want to make this video. I was reading this one, and I know that, so in the automation runbook, has something to do with the preconditions. I defined 8 parameters that I'm like, sometimes I want a video on the news, sometimes I want a video on AI, sometimes I want a video on geopolitics, sometimes I want a video on Idaho potatoes, or like whatever. And I could change this all at my whim, but I like how when the system itself knows that I want a different video every day when I come in, because the first time I made one of these videos, it had nothing to do with it was like the War Premium. It generated that itself. How did it generate that? One of the steps, ordered actions, the first step is research. I say research all of these things. All right, now that we have a ton of research, compress them and try and find the stuff from this research that's relevant to our brand, and try and compose like a story like through that. And that's why it's giving us like the War Premium, Mythos at the Gate, the field empties, the voice in the field, where potatoes grow. That's because it's taking like these 3 story beats that it's generating from the news, or like basically not just I say the news as if that's going to help clarify something for you. It's URLs that I've given it, as well as newsletters or other sources, maybe databases, APIs. The world is your oyster. Like I said, you have these nodes. Every step is a node, and because it's an automation runbook that is powered by agents, those individual agents, they can get so much better over time. Like before it had access to the internet, I would have had to do the research and then drop the info in here. It's scraping the web. It's taking only the important elements out, and it's actually able to, and you can't see it here. I'm really disappointed. Remotion Claude. Okay, so there's actually a video that's going on there. For some reason, it's not popping up. If this wasn't recording, it would pop up the steps, ordered actions, each item potent where possible. Yeah, you'd like that. I don't really care if it's item potent or not for this. I just want the automation runbook to build a compelling video. But you can hear it's slow, and oh, there it is. What's new in Shopify? So yeah, something new happened in Shopify, and this is relevant to Potatoes because Potatoes, although it's also the bucket, is the e-commerce branch of this Potatoes empire I'm building. So you have this becomes like what got me so excited. I wanted to start this video and say like, oh, I'm kind of stuck. I don't know what videos to make. I just tried to make one like, I'm leaning on AI too much in a lot of cases. One of the instances I was like, let me build this tool, right? Let me build this tool. What's the tool you say? Potatoes. I think it's called, it might be Research. No, it might even be Studio. It's Studio. Because in Studio, there's one called Remotion. No, cat package.json. These are things that I can run. I don't know if it's this one, but let's try it. npm run dev. It's already running. I don't think it's this one. Yep, it's nothing. Where is it? It might be npm run dev. It would be remotion cat. No, it would be npm run dichotomy. ls no cat package dot json. Yeah, dichotomy npm run. So the first time I did this, I actually got. I'm working on this with a. So I joined this Rockstar Developer University thing, and I made this storyboard one. I was late to making my video for the week, so I just spun up this app, and I kind of got clowned. It was like, oh, that sounds lame. And I'm like, it is lame. I wonder if it's like my voice that is being lame, or if it's because I'm like, it's too AI generated and I'm like looking at a script. So I'm like, this was literally what it is. I want to make a video about 3 video editing tips. Then I generated the storyboard. I want to make a video about editing videos. So this was like the first one that like I was like, oh, I could just automate all the stuff that I'm doing. Not always a good decision. I don't know why it's saying June 2nd. It's the 1st. So whatever this generates, I can guarantee you it's going to be garbage. Under the hood, there's tons of AI stuff going on, like struggling with video editing. My files were everywhere. I realized I needed better organization, introducing a clean folder system, smooth sailing through projects, random editing technique, yada, yada, yada. Creating edit. I mean, this is true. Do that. I do like how it's like inline editing. I think I like built this with that in mind. Thought this was cool at first, but it's so basic. And like the design elements are lame too. It seems like AI just loves putting these little colors on like the left sidebar of things. I don't like it. Doesn't matter though. This was like step 1. So step 1 was that, and I'm like, all right, that's garbage. So I'm like, all right, let's try AI engineering for Potatofolk. Don't get the rug pulled over your eyes. Learn these words. That's kind of like the idea behind some of these videos that I'm going to make. But then if we do npm run dichotomy, it's already in use. It's already going on. What? It does work. I know it does. What's going on? Maybe because I tried to run it twice. Let's try 9. What is it? Maybe 8. 8? 7? Potatoes master plan. Oh, you're not supposed to see that. I'm just kidding. It's weird because why is it already running? All right, I guess I have to. What is it? No such file directory. Beta storyboard. This is a lie. So we're gonna have to edit package. You're gonna see my Vim skill. I have to. So because we're in dichotomy, I think this will work. I should be able to be like, yo, just put it here. Let's see if that works. What the heck? Then I tried to launch that. Didn't I say 3555? Well, what did I say? I did. All right. Some fishies going on. Why is it saying that it doesn't exist? No such directory for storyboard 355. Oh. Because that's not how you do port. All right. It might be like use port, but I've already forgotten it. npm run dev dichotomy. Oh, it's like. I'm sure there's a better way to do what I just did. npm run dichotomy. Why is it saying that it's already in use? It's not in use. All right, Claude. Why is npm run dichotomy not working? It says 3459 is already in use. Kill that port. So I'm telling it to kill the port. Yeah, we're going down a hole right now, but this is kind of the process. And the whole thing we wanted to talk about was automation, runbooks, outputs. Yeah, where things land. That's that video that, like, if you check the shorts on my YouTube page, you're going to see what those run books generate. And the idea, the thing that got me excited, that's what we wanted, was I was watching it, and it gave me news about something that Shopify's doing, which was relevant to like some of the work that I'm doing in like the e-commerce realm. So what made me so excited was I could use those updates and just report on those. So I'll have the AI do it. But it also dropped a bunch of information that I had like no idea anything about. I could probably ask it. Let's just make sure that we can kill this. Still node was holding that port. Port is now free. NPM run dichotomy. Yeah, so I had built this one, and this one I think does like a way better job. And I almost thought that I could sell this. But at the same time, if I can't use it enough to be useful, that's one thing. So I would pick 2 words. The original one, and I didn't even use it for this, but like the conception was determinism and stochasticity. That's like one of my first videos. So I was like, well, let's do canonical or conventional and canonical. Conventional, well, actually it'd be unconventional and canonical. That I thought those were things I could juxtapose because I use these words often in the development world. So if you want to get a job in development, I would say use these words more, not to sound like a buzzword, but because they tend to be like a North Star compass. Not so much unconventional, but canonical. So I treated those like there was a dichotomy there. Technically, the dichotomy would be conventional and unconventional. What's a conventional method? Conventional method for cooking a potato is preheating your oven to 425 degrees, putting your potato in that oven for about 40 minutes, pulling them out. All right, I messed up. Conventional, you were supposed to stab it with a knife beforehand. Hopefully you didn't pause the video then and forgot to do that. But all right, then, so you stab it. But even before that, you wash it, salt it. I presented this in an unconventional way, but the conventional way to bake a potato is, as I said, clean it, dry it, salt it, stab it while you're preheating the oven at 425 degrees, which you might as well habit stack. Go do something that's good for your environment. Clean your house while it's heating up. Stab your potatoes. Put it in for 40 minutes. Maybe you want to oil it up a little bit. Maybe if you wanted a little extra crispy skin, it's delicious. But I'll go only 40 minutes. I'll pull it out, turn it down to 375, put some chicken in there. Put them both back in, take them both out, eat them together. And I noticed that like buttered and full of ranch, of course the potato's going to taste delicious. But yeah, that was me describing a conventional way to bake a potato. 425 degrees, 40 to 60 minutes. Tasty. I told you the prep. That said, is that the canonical way? No, that's not the canonical way. The canonical, well, quite frankly, it's not necessarily the canonical way. Canonical, I thought was like, I've been using it as like the right way, or like the way that everyone else uses it. That's the correct way. That's not quite what canonical means. Canonical more so means there's an authority on the matter, and you want to leverage what they would recommend. So the canonical way to bake a potato would be to check a recipe book. That would be a canonical, like that. You could justifiably say that that's like the canonical way to bake a potato. Whereas if you're in, there are other instances where that's not canonical though. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by there's other instances where that's, well, okay, yeah, because let's say your grandma showed you how to make the best baked potato and it's 400 degrees, and every 10 minutes you're like taking a paintbrush and buttering that potato while it's in the oven, and halfway through you cut it open and then squeeze the side so all the air moisture moves out, so it's like more airy when you start to eat it, just like the loosely aerated soil that you want your potatoes to grow in. You know, I know what I'm talking about. So if your grandma taught you that way, all of a sudden she is the holder of the canon, and that would make it canonical. Conventional is what everyone else is doing. Canonical does imply some type of authority on the matter. So this is all extra information. So we have word 1, word 2, and we have our audience, which is Potatofolk. And I'm like, bear with me. I've decided I want to help characterize who these people are. I know from studying potatoes lately, I've discovered, and like I say, studying potatoes lately, from AI agents doing market research for me, and quite frankly, listening to the Eye on Potatoes podcast on my phone, like starting from the episodes in 2019, it like jumps right into when they got hit by coronavirus. That's what I've been like my research, like, so I've been doing research through agents and like trying to build websites, trying to reach out to these people, but they're farmers. I don't think they care. The salespeople, I don't think they care. Some city boy, or I'm not even a city, I'm not, some computer nerd trying to like pick their brain and get data from them. But what I've learned is H-1B visas are like important to the potato industry because there's a shortage of labor. People don't want to work on potato farms. Who would have thought? Um, and it gives me some ideas. Like I'm like, okay, well, what if we did like a work study program where we compel schools who are afraid that their kids aren't learning to go work on potato farms, and for free, I will teach them AI engineering. There's this guy goes on the streets of New York, tracks NYC, just gives people gold. Says, guess how much this weighs, and he'll give you silver or gold. People will walk right by him. They haven't seen his videos, and maybe it's smart to run away from people walking up to you in New York City. But if you even just throw out a guess, he'll just give you free silver and gold, and then he'll even tell you like where you can sell it, where he will buy it back from you, which is just insane if you think about it. Because like he's teaching two things there: the value of this thing will go up, so I can give it to you and buy it. And although he's going to take an L for like, it's basically advertising for him to buy it, but then when he buys it, the value's going up. The value of silver, the value of gold goes up. That was not financial advice. The other key thing that he's teaching is no matter how valuable what you have is that you're giving away, people might not want it. So I tie that back into the work study program. I want to teach people AI engineering, but I don't think people necessarily value it that much, and they don't see how it could impact their life. So I don't know what other way than to just show you how I use it. So we use it to like figure out some of these roles: field agronomist, grower operator, harvest crew lead, seed potato specialist. And like there are so many other jobs that go into supporting these jobs. And those support roles, some of them are in like operations or HR or like just receptionists or like, and I say just receptionists. Every job where you're serving other people, especially those that I would say that are in like the supply chain, I think are like just immensely undervalued. I think that we should be valuing these people more, especially these vodka distillers. Just kidding. So we've got, not even just kidding, that potatoes, man. You guys are helping the potato industry by buying them. And so we have field agronomists, operators. The idea was, I think, is it not letting me click them? Okay, it is letting me click them. So the idea is you'd click a few of these, you put two words in, and it would try to, I'll just show you. So let's think of two words that are like, can be juxtaposed and then be used in examples for all of these things. Let's use our big brain powers, activate. So what about, I got nothing, I'm kind of tired. What are two good words that we could juxtapose? Why bother think when we've had AI do that for us this whole time? I'm just kidding. I want to think of them myself. So, right now, oh, I got it. Embedding. That's a good word. And because I don't know what an equivalent would be, let's just generate one. Extraction. So those mean two different things in the field of AI. Let's find out what. So now it's generating an example for each of these. For embeddings, that would relate to an AI engineer for all of them, as well as a potato farmer, a field agronomist, a harvest operator, a fertilizer ag chem rep, USDA state quality inspector, as well as some for extraction. So, all right. When taking soil samples, it's common practice to embed a small sample of soil into each test kit. Oh, I didn't know that. This embedding ensures that a representative sample gets tested for nutrients or pH levels. It's all about capturing the essence of a larger field in that small bit of soil. Extraction happens when you pull the necessary nutrients or chemicals from the soil sample for analysis. Using an extractor, you separate the valuable components like nitrogen or potassium. Farmers need these details to adjust fertilization plans. In AI, embeddings turn words or data into numerical formats that computer models understand. Think word embeddings from natural language processing, like turning every soil type or fertilizer data into numbers so the model can crunch them. Feature extraction AI pulls out the most useful data from raw inputs. For soil samples, this means modeling techniques like principal component analysis can extract key nutrient features from vast data sets, saving farmers from sifting through endless numbers. So that's for the potato farmer. And I bet these are all also valid, valuable. Operators embed sensors, AI in structured formats helping. So like, and then the idea was, let's make a video from that stuff. That said, it did it a couple times, and I was like, I, I think I chose 2 words. Well, I have this dashboard. Let's just go to the dashboard. Mission control. AI engineer making vocab content for a community AI is coming for a community. Yeah, not a farmer. Ranges credibility. Teach the words now. Earn the yeah. Because like I'm like worried that like because I'm not a potato person, like who is you? Who are you? Like speaking to myself there. The videos are the front door, not the building. Yeah, I want to like show people what they can do with these things. So there was this goal of creating 10 people, like the perfect archetype. I saw this really good quote. It said, if there were 10 people or like characterizations of people that you could build a relationship with who would fund the lifestyle that you desire, how could you best serve them to justify and give them more in use value? I'm merging quotes now, but give them more in use value than what you take in market value. The example, the place that I stole the second half from, I remember. It's The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. It's this example of this person giving a Mona Lisa painting to an Eskimo. They have no use for this thing, right? It's cold. They need to kill whales or something. So then they said, well, but if you gave them a gun and some ammo and gunpowder, then all of a sudden, like, you could take from them like $100 for that painting versus $100 for that like rifle. You get more in use value than in market value, even though the market value of the Mona Lisa might be like so much more money. So that's my justification of building the empire one at a time. These are some of the potential people that I would want to focus on. Oh, and I was like, all right, let's make sure that we have stuff to go through. The only one that I've done so far is determinism and stochasticity, which are good dichotomies. Greedy and sampling are not good dichotomies. And I dropped that, I think, into maybe not this session. I didn't drop it into this session, but I dropped greedy and sampling. I put it into here, and it kind of made them seem like they were like they were against each other. Totally wrong. So in this, misunderstand embedding and extraction AI, and you might just sign up for a tool that analyzes your soil as well as a potato peeler. Yeah, I mean, challenges the audience understanding of AI terms, but yeah, I mean, I guess, but I feel like this is almost insulting. I don't think someone would have something that analyzes your soil as well as a potato peeler. Why did the potato farmer love AI embeddings? Because unlike his crops, they never needed extraction before they were I don't know if that's funny. I mean, technically it's true. Yeah, I will go with funny. Then we have definitions. Embedding in the process of integrating one thing into another, often to preserve it as different context. Extraction is the act of pulling a larger entity. So like all of this stuff, like it took me like 1 or 2, maybe 4 prompts to really get this. And I even was like, all right, because like this Claude is different than the backend for this. This is me. I'm paying monthly for this feature to be able to talk to it. But what's funny? Do we have? Is this public? I made this tool called Engine. It was a CLI before the AI CLIs were cool. So the idea, I think people are underutilizing AI. And that's what this video is really about. Where are we? We've already used this a few times. I kind of like that one. Oh, but we're talking about an automation runbook. The automation runbook was compelling because it it spoke of things that I hadn't heard of before, and I'm really into this idea. I know some people, oh, manifestation. When I think of manifestation, I think of it more like train tracks or like have you ever seen those like one train or the trolley problem where there's 2 directions it can go and you can control which way it goes? I look at it like Um, I have to be the person before I can expect anything that that person would logically receive. If I want like monetary blessings bestowed upon me, I have to provide something in market value to a lot of people. How do I provide a lot of stuff market value to people? Maybe just sharing how I go about problem solving. It's a little manic and like maybe schizophrenic in some ways, but like I enjoy it, and I like the potatoes constraint grounds me in a lot of ways. But at the same time, I think that other people might be able to take my approach, conform it to their own will, and I hope that I can help people understand things better about AI just by having some of these yap sessions. Because I could do these. I originally started this video by talking to Claude and being like, "Hey, I'm struggling with Potato Core. I don't know what video I want to make." But just talking about it and like going through the stuff has been kind of like it's been kind of nice. So to wrap up this whole automation runbook piece, you have all these nodes. Those nodes themselves are going to get better as the models get better. And with your agent, you can talk to your agent, basically talk to the node that you want to improve and say, hey, this part needs to get better. This part needs to change a little bit. And you could have visual components with this tool, Remotion, that we were looking at, which it's not good because I'm not able to effectively share how useful it is because of, you know why? Because it's like slow, but okay, maybe not too bad. With this one's not bad because the other one, these ones, I'm trying to push it to the limit. But this one, this is my old video. Like this is one of the first videos I made. The thing that frustrated me and like prevents me from coming back is this thing. I have to I record this and then I have to make sure that my like timing is right so that when I start cutting in the video, I actually did the video cutting in CapCut. This part over here frustrated me, but we do have to look at this in order to wrap our heads around it. This itself I can modify, like by just talking to it and say, hey, modify this piece. Maybe, and I'm going to have to do that for one of these future videos because some things are getting clipped. This thing in the background, that is the Earth. There's an API. If you want to know what the API is, I could share it with you later, but it lets you like zoom in on these things. And one thing I noticed is when you zoom out, it kind of clipped. It was clipping, so I was like, oh, just fade out so that it looks like it was on purpose. Little hacks we do. So with the automation runbook, we have, okay, some media, some chatting. On the back end, 11 labs. I'm talking through like which voice I want it to use. Down here, I haven't even really gotten to it yet. I just knew that I had this vision. Potatocore.mp4 is avant-garde. I don't care what anyone says. I might not be the best visual artist. I might not be the best music artist. I might not be the best artist. But what I can do is art. I know you might be like, this is all AI generated. No, this is art. This is art. Maybe one day, the dream it would be if someone could be like, do the potatoes treatment to my thing, and I have effectively like defined the ontology of potatoes so well that telling an AI agent to do potatoes to it would generate an empire because I seeded what that thing was. I think if I said, make Disney with this, it would kind of be unclear because like with Disney, like there's the stop motion animation, it does these clips. That doesn't really maybe at some point I would like to rival that because maybe you could get the like, hey, give this the Disney treatment. But I don't think Disney gave the agent or like gave the IP itself kind of like hooks that other things can plug into. I guess it'd be more like plugs. I want like a potato battery where like if you gave something the potatoes treatment, you're basically saying like do science where you're doing research, hypothesizing, building, creating life, and then like creating like news cycles or turning this thing that like into this news cycle generator, where like now I can look at Shopify auto-enabled managed payment methods. What the hell does that mean? Looks like they're for real. Automatically activate local payment options and personalized checkout by locations. This optimizes conversions. Similar to B. Okay, it did mention BLIK in Poland or ban contact in Belgium without manual configuration. Relevant local payment methods, digital wallet, buy now, pay later for the reasons you sell to. Yeah, like I read something recently and it was talking about like the inevitability and of like future payment methods. I think there's a 400 method that's like payment required. It's a paywall HTTP code, and AI plus crypto makes it really easy to navigate those things. You could probably use Stripe or Plaid or something like that too, but I like the idea of crypto because I'm invested in it. I also think that there's just general benefits to getting off of fiat. Not entirely. I think that fiat has its place, but I think all of these things can coexist. There's, yeah, I mean, like, whether or not someone else likes it, I showed a friend and she's like, oh, it sounds very AI generated. And I'm like, yeah, because it is. But she was right. I picked a really generic voice because I thought that would be a good newscaster. I switched up and chose the Scottish voice. I think it fits a lot better for the newscaster. It's like gives you something to like tickle your ear. So yeah, that's what an automation runbook is. It doesn't really help that I didn't go over the actual runbook. I went through the output, but the way you would set up the runbook is you'd say something like, I want a Remotion runbook for creating a video that leverages market research, that analyzes the market research, does it in these different voices. Like it's kind of big, but like I'm sure you can backward or reverse engineer what I did and do it for your own thing if you wanted to. The key thing that I wanted to get across is like make an automation runbook, see if you can improve upon it after you make the first iteration. Like every node that I said, do market research to then on your target market to like create a video using these tools with this API key that does this. It's all in the .env file. Your API key should be in the .env file, which should be in your get ignored reference so that you're not exposing that stuff when you push it up to GitHub or Bitbucket. Thank you for watching.